Yeah, so what do you think so far?
I like that. I like it. Honestly, that'd be interesting. It's cold as balls out here.
It's not like the most fleshed out thing or whatever, but like I have this idea of like what would have been way better of a story to set up, because I'm setting up.
Because you can set up a whole
Ray, Poe, and
world.
Finn.
By the way, my idea was when I was like, oh, gee, we could collaborate. It's because if I was like TV show, you could still take my character as the one who's like, because I never leave him as a Jedi Knight. He's a Padawan, and we end it with, I want to end it with him as still as a Jedi.
Well, I mean, like, based on what you were saying, right, you wanted it to take place just a couple years later.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, mine takes place like 10 years.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
good point.
Your
TV show could tie in
exactly,
to what
I've
like,
got boom, this is the character that was the villain that becomes a villain, it becomes an evil guy, whatever. Like,
yeah, because he's gone through all this stuff with like the Emperor, the chick that's from the Empire.
Yeah, like,
he knows about the Fallen Order first, but he doesn't tell.
Yours shows up as the fact that the Fallen Order is gone, but he's aware that the Fallen Order is gone, not gone.
Yeah, but he doesn't tell.
Yeah, he's just like,
right.
He loves that chick enough that he's like, yeah, no.
You guys do your thing.
Yeah, they still exist. You just can't come back to it. Maybe even to the point where he's like, you're not allowed to come back here. You can stay on the fringes of the galaxy, but you're not allowed to come back here. Oh, we are recording?
Yeah, it started.
Alright, good. So you guys heard all of that.
So, is it a dog? Is it a bear? Cat. Bear thing. It is a bear.
Is it a bear?
Maybe.
He might be a bear.
Well, he's not really a bear.
No, he's a cat dog bear thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, here we are. Literally, like, no actual gap. So, like, just the only reason I want to say that is because of the fact that, like, this is literally just, like, off the top of my head.
No, so
but in a way that, like, I have this idea of, like, here's what I think would be better, but then the details, because you're trying to, you
I just
keep
like
being
fleshing, I like fleshing it out.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm like, oh, yeah. Now, something we haven't actually said before that I think makes it kind of like we're cheaters is we're both DMs.
Is it cheating?
We both really know how to write on the fly.
We like going, yeah, exactly.
We really know
Especially
how to
when you're freaking your character players start doing crazy stuff, and you're like, okay, how do I fix this? Well, I can't. How do I play with this then? Because that's the thing is like, I was talking to my friend Mike, and he told me, he's like, well, when characters start doing insane, I don't want to say he does what Fuller does, because I haven't played with him, right? But the way he talked to me made me think of Fuller, where it's like, well, then fine. Where Fuller said, you can't do this, and then he's like, well, then I'm going to make it insanely hard for you to do this. He kind of does the same thing, where he's like, I'm not going to make it where you can't do this. He says he's like, I'm not going to say you can't. But then instead, I'm going to make it where it's insane to do this. And I'm like, that kind of sucks. Because I feel like your character players should be able to do whatever the fuck they want, but not until the point where they're like, I'm a god level, I can do whatever the fuck I want. But like, I can do whatever I want. There's just going to be insane consequences for what I do. That's the way I look at it. And maybe that's his thought process, but the way he worded it made me worried that he might be like, let's say you're like, hey, there's 10 Draconians, lizardmen, who attack my group. I'm going to attack them, and I'm like, well, what's the rest of your group doing? And the rest of the group is like, I'm going to run away, right? So now you are fighting 10 Draconians by yourself. That's insane. Would your character really want to fight 10 Draconians by themselves? And he's like, yes, my character wants to fight 10 Draconians by himself. And it's like, well, now I guess I have to roll for 10 Draconians attacking you. What's your position? What's happening? And okay, let's do this. And that's the way I feel like he does it. Where it's like, your character's going to do this without the questioning part of it. Where I'm like, does your character actually want to do that when the rest of your group ran away? Mm-hmm. So he takes it as, your group ran away. Oh, fuck you if your group ran away. He's just like, alright, 10 Draconian fights, let's do this. 10 on 1.
Yeah, so it's not even a, are you sure?
Yeah, it's not a DM
right,
moment of
look,
like,
you picked this.
Yeah, it's not even.
I set up the stage. You said yes, and I said okay. Well, you're about to die probably, but maybe you'll get out of it.
Yeah,
who knows?
Exactly. But then he adds like a dragon. He was like, I'll add a level whatever elder dragon. Mm-hmm. And I was like, an elder dragon. He's like, dude, if my group wants to do some stupid crap, I'm gonna add an elder dragon. I'm like, that's insane. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Because that's Like your group, whoever chose to fight this can't fight whatever you just added to this, because you're mad that they chose to do a thing that you would rather them not done. And like, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, who knows? But if it's a wrong moment and you realize your character player isn't going to do it the right way, you don't push them to do it the right way, but you ask them.
Yeah, see, I can't be pushy. If I set the stage, I let the stage be set.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I might change something here or there, but like, I don't know. I couldn't think adding an elder dragon just to be like, no, you're wrong, run away.
Exactly.
I couldn't think to do that.
Exactly.
That just doesn't.
Like,
because if they want to push, man, and they succeed in pushing,
congratulations.
dude, awesome. You guys push back the thing I said you shouldn't do that.
The way he makes it sound, at least to me, was that like, no, you're gonna lose this fight.
Because that's still almost railroading.
Exactly. No matter what's happening, you're gonna lose this. I'm like, no, that's not okay. Do whatever your scenario is, and if that one person is like, let's do this.
Right.
And then you're like, all right, fine, you're going to do this. The rest of your group chose to not do this.
Like,
are you sure you want to do this?
As an example, like, I did a thing where I was like, okay, yeah. They were like trying to go and follow this thing, and I wanted them to follow this thing, but then once they got to a certain point, I was like, okay, now I want you to leave. You got the stuff that you needed, now go away.
You needed,
and I let them know, I set up that there's a dragon. I started setting up before they got there that, yeah, there's a dragon there. They saw a dragon before they even started heading that way. So yeah, there's a dragon. And then they eventually got to the point where they're like, no, we want to push forward. And then they started to fight the dragon. And they're like, yeah, we're going to fight the dragon. And I'm like, no, don't fight the dragon. Instead of leaving. And I was like, but I didn't tell them, no, don't fight the dragon. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, which I'm fine with that.
And you know what? They beat him.
See, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it.
Which blew my mind. I was like, how did you beat this dragon? It must have been my fault. I had to have done something wrong.
Like, you look back at your dragon, you're like, what did I do wrong with this dragon?
Yeah, I must have done something wrong that you beat this dragon. But at the same time, there was 6 of them, or whatever, versus like a level, like a 4-person party wouldn't have beat it. But there was 6 or 8 of them or something. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay.
It can make sense.
I see how you beat, but I should have done something different with that dragon to make him like, run away.
A little bit tougher or whatever. Like, I think it's okay to do toughness, but it's not okay to be like, no, you can't.
One thing I did to nerf my dragon was I put him inside of a tunnel.
Oh, yeah, that makes it hard. Well, he can't fly away.
No.
He can't do what
He did. He dug out of the tunnel and flew away.
Okay.
But at that point, they were gripping onto him.
Oh, so they were already
flew
like,
into the air.
Just keep
stabbing and flying. Now they're flying 100 feet in the air, stabbing this dragon. And like that's the thing is they killed the dragon, but a couple of them died from falling to their death.
Die from falling.
Yeah,
it's like I'm under the dragon. This guy's on top of the dragon, getting launched off.
And then, but see, the thing is, even the ones that died were like that was satisfying. You know, it's like I killed a dragon.
That's all that matters.
And that's why I was like, yeah, okay.
Does your player character enjoy the situation they were involved in? And then even if they didn't enjoy the situation they involved in, are they okay with the resolution?
Must be done.
Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, are they okay with the resolution?
Mm-hmm.
If they're okay with the resolution, then they did a good job. They're happy with it. That's all that matters. And that's where I had a problem with. It's like, the way he was saying it, I'm like, I get where you're coming from, where you're like, I don't want my player characters to do this. So he didn't full-on railroad it, but he railroaded it enough to be like, you can't do this. And it's like, no, they should be able to do whatever they want to do, or at least try to do whatever they want to do. You shouldn't give them the ability to do it, but...
Hey, why don't you recap my Star Wars story real quick before I start episode 9?
Recap it?
Yeah,
dude, do you know my memory span? Alright, recap, guys. So, we have Luke come into this world. He starts a Jedi Order. And as he does his Jedi Order, I can't look at you guys. I feel bad because the light's so freaking bright. Like, I see a little ring around it. But anyways, excuse me. As he does his Jedi Order, we have a couple characters that show up and appear in the 8th movie. And they realize the Jedi Order, the First Order is still prominent, big pieces. They show up. We have the majority of the Jedi Order die, minus Rey, Poe, Luke, and Finn. I'm pretty sure
Jason and Jaina.
Jason and Jaina are the only ones who stay alive out of all of it, because we followed Anakin and a couple other random peoples. And that's where we're at.
Yep.
So we're back to where...
So episode 9.
Yes.
Episode 9, The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi. Okay. I'm excited because I'm curious if they're going to die.
I'm going to steal that title.
Yeah, the title's a good title. It's a good title.
It's a good title, but it was done wrong.
Yes.
So episode 9 is The Last Jedi. So we're gonna take place another 10 years later.
Whoa, another 10 years.
Yeah, I like the idea of really going forward because.
They're like 30 at this point, and the characters we met in 7 or 30.
Right, I like the idea of jumping forward 10 years because you really can change the world and it feel natural.
And it'd be understanding.
Right, because like 10 years have gone by, so it's pretty understandable that things are different. You know, instead of being like, oh, it's a week later. Right? No, it's 10 years later.
Only a couple seconds have passed. Let's start. Welcome to The Last Jedi.
So it's 10 years later. And this time, I think we should start on Luke.
Okay. So, at this point, is this Jake Solo that we've met, or is this Luke still?
I feel like it's definitely Luke.
Okay.
Don't you feel like it's Luke?
I don't know.
What
I don't know. You haven't described who this Luke is on episode 8.
Oh, Luke is definitely following.
Or 9, my bad.
Well, no, even 7, 8, and 9. Luke is definitely following in the way that Luke was in episode 6. You know, like he's charismatic. He thinks things go well. He's just made the wrong decision.
Yeah,
that's all. He made the wrong choice.
Maybe he's grown up a little bit because he's like, okay, let's do this differently then. Because he's already tried a couple of these steps.
But here we are. It's 10 years later, and he's trying to reestablish the Jedi.
Okay,
right?
so he's still like, let's do this.
That's where we're starting though. Is that it's 10 years later, and we're at the Senate, and we're gonna actually have all of the main characters here.
Human? Because the reason I ask is Anakin and Luke and all of them are humans because
humanoid.
Technically, what's
humanoid.
his face isn't a human. Mace Windu is specifically not a human.
They're humanoid though.
Yeah, they're humanoid. So what's their lifespan? Because like Mace, the reason I say Mace out of all of them is
now Luke's only in his 50s.
He's a humanoid.
Because he was like late 40s, early 50s, and now he's late 50s, early 60s.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And the same with Han and Leia.
Okay.
Okay, but we're gonna start with all the main characters, and we're at the Senate.
Okay.
We're starting at the Senate. And Luke is besieging the Senate to allow him to reestablish a Jedi Order. Right, because
even
they're saying...
after that debacle...
but it's been 10 years.
Okay.
It's been 10 years,
so
and they're still... That's the thing. Their argument is like, well, what happened last time is we almost had the Sith Order rise.
So it'd be like, well, no, yes, I get that what you're saying, but like, it's 10 years, we have new people who are using the Force. Would you rather it be that there's people who are using the Force for good or evil or whatever the hell they want to do versus me training them to do it for good?
Yeah, essentially that's the argument he's making, and then the argument that most of the Senate is making is like, if it wasn't for you, the Sith would have just been like defeated. And he's like, well, I defeated the Sith, and they're like, we get that, but then you nearly caused the Sith to rise again, and if it wasn't for your students, the Sith would have.
Right, because they don't understand the Force.
Correct.
It doesn't matter that he trained them or doesn't train
Correct.
them. They're just like, they're Force users, you're Force users, you almost made Sith.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, had I not been there,
yeah, the Sith would have risen.
There wouldn't have been people who could have stopped, because that guy was strong enough in the Force that he would have fallen anyways. Yeah, okay, I get it. So 9 is where we're at.
And we're going to be at the literally 10-year anniversary of Anakin's death.
Okay.
Right? So we're having a lot of sorrow in the family. They're actually having a death day. Right? So instead of celebrating birthdays, they do celebrate the death.
And do we have birthdays?
They mourn.
I don't think we do.
Where it's been 10 years, they're going to mourn. They're going to have a service, a ceremony, or whatever, where they mourn the loss of their kid. But anyway, so we're going to start there at the Senate, and the Senate is going to say no.
Okay.
And everyone except, I think, Luke is going to be okay with it. Even though there's Jedis. Because they're not saying you guys can't practice Jedi anymore.
They're just saying
they're like,
more
no, you
training
cannot
of
train
others.
more Jedi.
Yeah.
Right? And so at this point, I would still say they're not masters.
Okay.
Right? He has not granted master rank to anyone else because of everything that happened.
Yeah. Like,
But then at the same time, I think like Poe I should be a master, right? Like, so he's like,
Poe's still pushing for it.
he's like, I should be a master,
And
right? So he's like kind of jealous and upset, like, I should be a master, like, we've had this much training, blah, 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 we're the only ones left, like, I should be a master. But they're saying we can't, but like, I get why they, no, Poe is the only one that
Who
is
doesn't
with
understand
Luke.
it. Yeah.
He's with Luke. Where
Yeah.
Finn is very understanding, Rey's very understanding, Jason and Janet are understanding, but Jason is not understanding, like, he's faking it.
He's understanding in the sense of being like, I get where they're coming from, but I'm not agreeing with them.
Right, but he's gonna say he agrees
politics.
because his
It's
mother.
politics.
Yeah, because his mother
and
and his father both say no, there shouldn't, and he's like, yeah, there shouldn't, like, because look what happened to Anakin.
Well, no, I don't even think he should do look what happened to Anakin, because his whole
That's
thing,
what his parents are saying.
That's what his parents
That's what
are
I'm saying.
saying.
His parents are saying, look what happened to Anakin.
He should
We
still
don't
have
need
that
anymore.
clenched fist attitude.
And so, like, Luke and Leia are at odds.
Okay.
Luke and Leia are at odds at this point,
So
because she's
Senate
like,
at this
you
point,
got
and
my
he's
son
like,
killed.
No, fuck you.
Yes. She's one of the votes that said, like, that's going to be the big climax of that first scene, right? Is like, we put it to vote. And then everyone's, and he looks over to Luke.
It's a one vote moment where it's like.
I don't even think it should be a one vote moment. I just think that there should be a point, like, it's like, we're going to vote, and he looks at Leia, and Leia looks at him, and it's a unanimous vote. He looks at Leia, and Leia looks at him, and she says no.
Okay, yeah, that would hurt.
You get what I'm saying?
That would hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So Luke and Leia are at odds, and that's when Luke decides, I'm going to leave.
Okay. And then we can get the Jake Solo that they got in the freaking movies.
I'm out of here. He's like, look, I'm going to leave. I need time to think about what's going on. This is ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. And so he leaves. And Poe tries to go with him.
Like,
and
Master,
says,
let me come with you.
Yeah, and he's like, no. You know, and like really disdainful, you know, and like hurt, and like shows his anger and shows all these dark side tendencies. Right?
Luke does?
Yes.
Okay.
Luke shows a lot of like malice and
like, he's
anger,
angry.
and he's upset.
Yeah,
he's genuinely upset.
He's been trying to do this right thing, and then everyone says, no, fuck you.
Yes.
And then he's now like, okay, so fuck you.
So he, they don't order him into exile, but he exiles himself. But he'll give Poe the map. Right?
Okay.
He's like, but in the worst case scenario,
if you need me while
here,
I'm doing whatever I'm doing.
this is where I'm going.
Yeah, okay.
Right? And he leaves. So, then we're going to follow the beeline
Now,
story.
this would make sense because Luke is an insane fighter pilot, like his father, and an insane pilot.
And he goes to the deep core.
So he's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, he goes to the deep
core. I know
core.
you could find me if anyone needs to find
Exactly.
me. So here.
Because Poe is also an insane fighter pilot.
Yeah.
Right, and he goes to the deep core. He actually goes to the Sith home planet.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, whatever that's called. I forget what it's called. But we've been there before in the extended lore.
Well, extended lore, we can obviously go back to, it starts with a T, but it's not important. Because the extended lore says that the Sith and Jedi started off with the same
I didn't start the timer. I'm starting the timer.
Okay. The Sith and Jedi go back to the same planet.
They were the same planet. I forgot about that. You're right.
Which was, by the way, literally a year before Disney took over Uncanny Valley and everything.
Damn.
It made me upset because it was like, this is a good story.
This is getting really interesting.
Yeah, like we go back to the very beginning, and then Disney took over and was like, oh, this is excellent. It's like, what? That was a great storyline. You guys could have literally taken from that storyline and moved forward. It would have been beautiful. And they were like, no.
So, the beeline plot.
Wait,
I guess that's not the A-line.
plot.
That's not
The
A-line.
A-line plot would be what we're doing.
That'd be
now,
C.
because
That'd be the
Luke
C plot.
leaving
It
would be
starts
a
on the
C.
C plot.
Yeah,
Yeah, because Luke leaves. We learn how Luke leaves. So we are going to follow Luke a little bit more later in the movie.
Okay.
But we'll come back to
But
that.
his would be C then. Yeah.
Yeah. So then the A-line plot is actually going to be now following Jason and Jana.
Yeah.
All right. And after the Senate concludes
Wait, so
that...
10 is Rey.
Exactly.
Okay.
Rey becomes the main character in 10. This is now, we're at 9. We are setting up, which, episode 9, did I say what it was called? The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Episode 9 is going to set up for why Rey is now the main character. Okay. So Rey, Finn, and Poe have now become really, really good friends. Sure. But the A-line plot is going to be that Jason and Jana have joined the New Republic's armed forces.
Okay.
They have been promoted to generals. Right? Because, like, that's kind of how the Republic works. Because, like, Han Solo did one thing and he became a general.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, well, these are great warriors, and they're solo kids, so they're going to be generals. So they're all general solos. Right? And, but at this point, Han Solo is going to have retired from being a general.
Yeah, he's old enough to, he's like, no, I'm not.
And he's literally going to be almost nothing. He's almost nothing in this movie. But Leia is still going to be in the Senate.
Yeah, doing her thing, political.
And
wise,
then Jason and Jana's main story is that they're going to be sent to essentially wipe up because like we've at this point pushed the First Order back to whatever, and then they're going to be sent there. Hold on. They've been pushed back, but a storyline is going to be following Jason and Janna as they are becoming more and more distant from each other as the movie goes on.
Okay.
Because Jason is becoming more and more enraged and more angry at the loss of his brother. But he's going to be a general, and Janna's not.
Okay.
Okay, and Janna's a little bit jealous, but Janna's put in service of Jason.
So like
she's also the younger sister.
She's still gonna do even if that doesn't even matter. She's still gonna be like, well, it doesn't. I'm still a Jedi, even if Jedi orders exist.
And she's actually more powerful than Jason.
Yeah.
In the Force.
I feel like it should be.
Somehow that should be established. I don't know exactly, but we established that Jason is actually weaker in the Force than Janna. But Jason starts getting those promotions, and he becomes a general. She does not. But she's in service.
Then he should just be smarter in like political
tactics and
everything
politics.
else.
He's better talker.
Yes.
He's a better talker.
He's a silver tongue. He has his dad's trait with him.
Yes, exactly. And so their main story is going to be that they are tasked with starting a unit, taking the newly built fleet, because now the military's finally built up.
Finally, after 20 years, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fully militarized, right? Like, they've been using the Sex and the Rebel Squadron and, like, these different things to fight their battles, but, like, now they have an Empire-sized fleet, right, of essentially Star Destroyers, but whatever the new version of Star Destroyers will be.
Dreadnoughts?
Yeah, Dreadnoughts, exactly. That's perfect. Yeah, Dreadnoughts. They use Dreadnoughts. And they've got a full fleet, and they're like, okay, we need you to take what you see as fit to wipe out the remnants of the First Order. And so he requests that Finn, Poe, and Rey go scout it out.
Okay.
Because of their abilities as Jedi to cloak themselves and essentially move around hidden.
Yeah.
So he's like, they're going to pretend to be smugglers or whatever, bounty hunters, levels. Something like that. And they're going to go and they're going to find it and really establish. And then that's where we get our super weapon.
Okay.
And we're going to get the dark saber.
Oh, that's a good book, honestly.
Okay, instead of getting this like planet-sized Death Star, we're going to get the Death Star that the Hutts built.
The pinpoint, like this is how we're going to destroy stuff.
Yeah, where it's you take away all of the exterior of the Death Star, and it's literally just a laser floating in space.
Yeah, that
just the cannon itself, right? And it's robot controlled or whatever, so it's like we can just sit on our yachts and right? And so that's the thing that's been built that they're going to discover. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what they're going to discover and everything. And during that conflict, I think...
I'm going to finish this.
Yeah, okay. During the discovery of it, they're going to really, really not show that they're Jedi.
Yeah.
But that's going to get Finn killed.
Okay.
Right? Because they're like, we can't use our Jedi powers. And then something's going to happen where like maybe Finn gets captured or something like that, and then they're like explicitly like you can't,
like, no,
you cannot use your Force powers, blah blah blah. And he's like, okay, and he's that much of like a really just good dude, because that's what we've learned from these three movies, is that he's just a really good dude, and he can still be retroactively, he can still be a stormtrooper.
And he can still be
that was
powerful.
Force sensitive,
yeah,
right? And he's powerful, yes, exactly, like to enough that he's in Jedi Knight, he's on their squad.
But he's like, no, I understand.
But he's such a good person.
I understand my place and my role in this as who I am. That
whenever
I'm just not gonna use it.
Whenever his two friends are like, no, we've got to uphold the mission. He's like, yes, we got to keep it secret that the Republic know. We're, as far as they know, just a couple bounty hunters, right? And he gets captured. He's like, no, they've got to believe that I'm a bounty hunter, and he's going to get killed because of that. Because
that can even add to Jason's storyline, where he's like, he gets more angry about that because he's like, well, he sent them on a mission, right?
Yes.
So then he could be like, we've lost another person.
Mm-hmm.
And like, because he's grown up with Poe, even as a young kid, knowing who Poe was, it's like...
Yep. No, Finn dies.
Finn dies.
Mm-hmm.
And then growing up with Finn and being like, okay. Yeah, I like that so far.
Okay, because how Poe dies is as a conclusion of the movie.
Oh, Poe dies in this movie.
Yes.
Okay.
No, that's why it's The Last Jedi. Okay, because Janna and Poe and Finn die.
Okay.
And then Jason goes full Sith. Okay?
Yeah.
While being a member of the Republic. And he keeps it hidden. And he essentially becomes the Emperor.
Alright.
Okay?
Alright.
Where he doesn't reveal that he's gone dark side. And they know he has force powers and stuff. But he's like, yes, and he becomes like a high-ranked member.
But he's been politically savvy, so they were like,
exactly.
He got his mother's side of him, where it's like, yes, he has his father's side of being like, I don't agree with these things, but he's politically savvy enough to be like,
yes.
I'm not gonna voice all these.
Yes, exactly. So the way this movie will conclude, so like, what I say, storyline A is Jason and Jana having their indifferences. Jason's going to kill Jana.
Oh, so that's how she dies. Okay.
Yes, Jason is going to kill Jana at the final conflict as they're going to storm the super weapon. While they're in the middle of that, they're going to have some sort of big disagreement over Anakin and everything, because he's going to actually voice his true opinions.
Yeah, I was going to say, would it be where she's like, are you being a Sith moment right here? Where it's like, what you're saying wrong.
He's going to say the line that Kylo Ren says, where he's like, the past needs to die, kill it if you have to. Right?
Yeah.
And then she's going to be like, no, that's wrong. What are you talking about, brother? And he's like, sister, no. You know in your heart that this is true. Right? And he's going to have that mode of trying to pull her to his side. Like, together we could rule this republic.
Together we could be strong enough to have everything.
We could rule this republic. We could rule the galaxy. And she's going to say no. So they're going to have a Luke Vader moment.
Yeah.
But then Vader's going to win. Because Jason is going to then just kill her. However is the most dramatic way.
If she's more powerful in the Force, then he shouldn't force choke her. Well, he should attempt, and then she's gonna just break free, and then be like, it's gonna be full of lightsaber.
And then he outsmarts her somehow in the combat lightsaber skills. Maybe that's all it is. Is that yes, she's more powerful in the Force, but he can still counter all of those things because he's like, I've known you forever.
It could be that
we're equals.
It could be the fact that he learned the Vipad fighting stuff. Because Vipad does dark side manipulation, but like it does dark side manipulation where like you send all this dark energy towards me, so I replace it. But instead he's like, oh, I don't push dark side energy. I just use the Force. So where he's like, no, the Vipad isn't that I use dark side energy or that I reflect dark side energy. It's literally, Vipad is about reflecting the Force.
Yeah.
Period out the end.
Yeah. So essentially, he bests her in saber combat. In layman terms, right?
Yeah.
Her force powers are stronger than his, but he's still able to counter them through smarts and wits or whatever of using the situation of whatever, like, because they're going to be on, like, no, they're not going to be on the bridge. They're going to be in his cabin.
Yeah.
And he's going to kill her.
Shit, okay.
Yeah. And then he's going to, using his, we're going to set up a Yuzhong Vong. Hold on. We're going to set up a Yuzhong Vong. Okay, so the Yuzhong Vong are going to come into the universe. All right, let me explain though real quick. In this movie, a Yuzhong Vong ambassador who is attempting to, because they're like, we don't know anything about the outer universe. Oh, alien contact from a Yuzhong Vong who's going to come in and try and be like, oh, we've noticed you have this great empire. And like, oh, Republic. And he's like, oh, the Great Republic. Last time we checked, it was an empire. Blah, 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 we defeated. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, you should go with Solo. Our great lead, like our great military ambassador, since you are a military tribe. And then he's going to set up the Yuzhong Vong. He's going to kill both the Yuzhong Vong and his sister in his cabin, and then say the Yuzhong Vong killed my sister.
So now we have a war. Yeah.
Yeah.
Set up a war for the 10th movie where
exactly.
It's like, then Rey shows up and is like...
So, but then in the final fight of the destroying the new Death Star, which is the Darksaber, it's not going to be enough to send a photon torpedo to blow it up.
Yeah.
So Poe self-sacrifice.
To blow up the ship.
To blow up the ship, where he flies himself into whatever core he has to.
Because in his mind, I assume in his mind,
he's like, this ends it all.
Yeah, this will stop
the good guys win.
Happening.
You know, and then somehow we should also, through some dialogue or whatever, establish that he believes that by doing this, or even, okay, I was going to say first, one of the two options. Either this means that the Jedi Order will be redeemed.
Yeah.
And will be able to be reestablished by my self-sacrifice. Or he believes, if I do this, Luke will show up and save my life and end this. Because he's that strong of a Jedi. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like one of those two.
But I think you should do that. He's like, he does it for both. In the sense of like...
Luke will come back.
Luke will come back. Because at this point, Poe should be like, yeah, he's been arrogant bastard in this whole movie, but
Yes.
then like this whole series, but then
yes.
he's like.